Now then, over the past couple of months in this show, we've heard from two of the candidates standing for Metro Mayor. Walton MP Steve Rotherham, who will represent Labour, and the leader of the Lib Dems in Knowsley, Carl Cashman. He's come forward for the Liberal Democrats. The Green Party's candidate is Tom Crone. Tom is leader of the Green Party in Liverpool, and earlier I asked him if there had been any other councillors or anybody else wanting to stand for Metro Mayor.
Actually, no, there weren't. I was the only person who put themselves forward for this role, and I was very keen and excited to take it, so that made my life easy.
There's some talk about it's a pity there isn't a woman standing as a Metro Mayor anywhere.
Absolutely. The Greens are very committed to trying to promote diversity and equality, and we actually have a policy that if we don't get a woman candidate, we reopen the nominations, and we did that. We reopened it for 2 weeks and to give another opportunity for a female candidate to come forward, but that didn't happen, so we just proceeded with just myself on the ballot paper.
The manifesto you're putting forward, is that agreed by all the Greens, or would it have been different perhaps if there had been another Green candidate? I
think I have used my own ideas and my own experience from being a councillor to formulate it to some extent, but the policies will be run by the full party. They will be signed off and agreed. We do things in a very democratic way within the Green Party.
And the top line that you're running with is this low carbon economy in the region.
Absolutely. I think something the Green Party are very passionate about is that we need to provide the houses, the jobs that everybody needs, but we need to do it in a way that doesn't trash the environment. So I'm going to look at ways that I can create new jobs within the city region. I can promote new industries and ones that actually lead to the environment becoming cleaner and better, and I truly believe that's possible. So that's the case I'll be making in this campaign.
I think you're also encouraging colleges in particular, but schools, to train people up to the skills that are needed to create a low-carbon economy.
That's right. So within the devolution agreement, a lot of powers are going to be devolved to the city region for post-16 education and training for people, adult training. And there's always a lot of talk about how we need to match the skills people have been trained up in with what the economy needs. I want this city region to be the greenest city region. I want it to have the biggest amount of green, low-carbon industry. And so that's what I'll be promoting. I'll be looking at ways to set up training centres, to train people up in retrofitting old homes to become energy efficient, in refurbing and restoring products that may otherwise just be thrown away. And many of these types of industries which provide lots of jobs, good quality jobs, but don't cause damage to the environment.
Now, all you can do, am I right, is encourage companies and people to do this. You won't have any funding in order to provide it or to make it work, will you?
A lot of these policies are still in formulation and a lot of the details aren't 100% clear, but there is going to be a certain amount of budget given to the city region mayor. It's called the Single Investment Fund. It's going to be around about the £30 million a year mark, and that can be used to promote the priorities of the elected mayor. And another thing that I think is important to note is that in Merseyside we spend £75 million every year just disposing of the waste we produce. So if I can make a compelling case that my policies will massively reduce that bill, that will give me the ability to invest in certain industries that could reduce that bill, reduce waste, reduce the money we spend disposing of it.
What about green transport? That's something you're going to bring back bus lanes. That won't be perhaps that popular.
So obviously transportation is another large element of the devolution agreement, and it's a very, very important issue for the environment, but also for every member of the city region, every person who's trying to get to work of a morning. We've got congestion, we've got serious air pollution, the evidence is mounting about the dangers of air pollution. So I'd like to bring in a transport policy that really addresses that and that will lead to less congestion, less air pollution. Now, bus priority as part of that. I'm not necessarily proposing just returning to where we were before the bus lanes were scrapped in Liverpool, but there will be a case for some bus priority for some bus lanes to ensure that people who choose to take sustainable forms of transport are given some form of an advantage, and it becomes an attractive option.
You're also suggesting, and I think I've not heard of this from anybody else, that you're going to actually have, if you like, assemblies in each of the 6 boroughs.
This is an idea that I've been looking at because I feel that there's been a democratic deficit at the heart of the devolution agreements. A lot of the details have been worked out behind closed doors by a small number of people. I think this devolution agenda needs to be really opened up to the public, to everybody in the city region. And I think citizens' assemblies or citizen forums will be set up in each area so that people have the opportunity to come along, give their ideas, set their priorities, and just create an environment where the mayor and the combined authority can listen to what people's priorities are and make sure that gets reflected in the way we move forward.
And will those forums link into the idea you have of an assembly over the whole, a bit like the London Assembly, that looks at the mayor in London?
That's another thing I'm going to look at, because the mayoral model has been forced upon the city region by the central government as part of the agreement. The way that the mayor is going to be held to account is going to be by the combined authority, which is essentially just the leaders of the 6 boroughs. Now, they're all from the same party. That doesn't necessarily mean that the wishes of people are going to be reflected, so I will be looking at the idea of a different kind of assembly. I'll investigate that, see if it's possible to bring in different ways of holding the mayor to account. I'd like to see a proportionally elected assembly holding the mayor to account, so that people from all parties have a say in policy formation and agreeing the agenda for the city region.
That's Tom Crone, leader of the Green Party in Liverpool and the party's candidate for the Metro Mayor for Liverpool City Region.